gangster. Nigga, you a gangster.
Just cause I kick it with killers don't mean that I do it. My occupation's a musician and I'm staying.
Baby, steadily dipping. And for all the BKs in 93, but you don't hear me though. Straight everyday banging, slanging, you know what I mean? That evil ass seaside, steadily dipping. Break it to my neighborhood, stop at Big Time. Get a bag of chips and $1 wine. Roll down Greenleaf, make a left for caress. Fire up the Indo, can't be smoking on that stress. Hanging out with grip figures. Ready to smoke them snoops, so my fingers on the trigger. Always ready for some sex tripping. That's why I'm dipping and dabbing, crippin' and dipping. Never catch me slipping. All the women on
Cammy Show.
Raise up the phone and cross switch the switch. Front and back and pause on threes. Rack top phone, sitting on the
I guess this is the part where we all check in.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I mean, you're a little low, the music's a little high.
Okay. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, you can be heard.
Okay.
One time pulls up, one time I get checked like a trick. White
Ty in the house.
Gangsters click. Move on before you
Ty's like, I ain't answering.
Come back to haunt
We got a mirror in the house.
That's
right.
Got Cammy in the house.
What's up, guys? What's up?
Welcome to the Luke and Cammy Show on Celebrated Radio. We're live again. This is show number, what is this?
You are low.
I'm low.
In the hood with do or die. Them pictures rolling deep in them slide buses.
The music is way up high.
That's why
You got it?
Turns
off on this Thursday.
Okay, how's that?
That's much better.
That's much better.
That's much better.
How come I didn't get a rundown?
Because I handed it to you and you lost it. I don't
Give
know.
me this. This is my bio.
See how he does? See
Okay.
how he does?
Okay.
I give him everything.
You gotta prepare me for the show.
Oh my goodness.
You took like 3 minutes to yourself. I thought you was done. I thought you was prepared.
Yeah, this is what happens.
Okay.
Well, we got a special guest in the house, right?
Yeah, we do. I've been waiting for a few weeks
Why don't
now.
you give him one of your Eastsider,
Oh, now you're giving me Eastsider credit?
yeah, what do you call it? Come on now, help me out. I've been drinking.
No, you have not.
Some water. Introduce some.
Oh my goodness. Okay, you know what?
There she goes.
Before we introduce I like to say, and I want to dedicate this episode of the Lucky Cammy Show to the ones that's out there on their hustle, on their grind, the ones that's trying to get into the music industry, the ones that's in the music industry. They got a couple musicians under their belt. They've been producing, they've been working hard, they've been trying to get their music out. Tonight is dedicated to you, for sure. I brought this, I actually contacted this gentleman because sometimes when you're in the industry, you have to look to those who've been through the steps, who've been through the, through the soil, through the rain, through the pour, all the work, the hard work. You got to listen to them. You got to hear what they got to say about the industry, and you're going to learn something. This show is not only about, just speaking on music industry and politics and all of that. It's actually really about flourishing our hustle. We got a community of people that's struggling, and the only way we're going to get out of it is we got to grind and we got to hustle. And so tonight, this show is dedicated to the hustler. So, with all that said, clap that up, right? Basically. So, clap that up. Anyways, so tonight we have Big Qluso. Now, let me tell you about this man, okay? He is a man of many hats. He's a music producer, a manager, a road manager, a senior VP, a dancer, choreographer, a writer,
dancer.
He's a dancer too.
Okay.
Right. He's a videographer, a photographer. If you ever go to a Long Beach event, usually you see a drone, it's him.
Your thing don't work.
Okay, so I don't know what's up.
All right, it's just you. Show must go on.
So he's a media coordinator, artist development, nonprofit organizer. I mean, the man does it all. Please put your hands together for David Qluso.
Hey.
Lindy, yeah.
Wow, bro. Yeah. Your accolades is incredible.
Just blessed to be here. I'm the type of guy that's I'm always behind the scenes, and kind of feels a little bit refreshing to give me an opportunity to step to the forefront. So I appreciate you guys for having me here. A blessing for that, and let's move. Let's give them what they need.
Oh yeah. Besides being hot up in here. It's steaming hot up in here. No, I mean, let me just say this too. I talk a lot about Long Beach, but we talk about Long Beach here. And when I met you, Qluso, we met you at a major Long Beach event, and that was honoring Kelvin Anderson, and he finally got his accolades that he deserves in the community. And you, and all his contributions to hip hop and Long Beach as a business owner for 40 years. But I met you there, and you came in with a major superstar, which is DJ Battlecat, and you came with the drones, and I'm like, who's this guy? You got the drone, you got the photography, you got everything going on, and then Beefy took me to the side. And he was like, you got to get this dude in. You don't understand how much this man is connected to every single aspect of this music life. And I took that a while ago, since October, and I held that, and I said, when we get on the right show, we're going to bring you in. We ain't going to bring you in on, just not organized and not ready and not getting it together. So we wanted to make sure we were right. And let's start with how you started in the industry.
Actually, I got my start doing choreography. I was actually sitting at Battlecat's garage and watching him DJ, and Young MC came through, and Young MC had his single out at that time, and he was going to the Celebrity Theater to do a big show it was with everybody. Everybody was at the show. So Battle Cat actually told him that, you know, I could dance. So I actually went there and I jumped on stage with Young MC, and I think he had I think the single was Bust a Move, and I jumped out there and
killed it.
Got it in. It's something significant about what happened that day is that I actually, there's this move that I do when I jump through my leg. I actually fell on stage.
Wow.
and the thing about it was that I fell. I knew that I fell, but I bounced back so fast. But what was very significant about it is that I was like, it was like a super embarrassing moment, but it kind of like was the icebreaker because I was in front of like 30,000 people.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like to just fall and then keep going was like I didn't have stage fright anymore after that. It was like I had my one situation that happened. It just gave me the confidence for the rest of my life because it was very important, and a lot of people remember me from that.
Yeah.
A lot of people remember me. They're like, man, that's right, bro. You failed, but you kept going, bro. I like that. You made me feel good. You made me feel like, man, if something happened with me, I want to be able to keep going. And I think that's what actually kept me going as far as doing everything that I wanted to do in the industry was based on something simple like that. It was like you never give up. If there's a situation where something happens, don't give in to the embarrassment of it. You just you strive through and push. And I kept that drive going, and that's what really was actually the beginning of me getting involved in doing anything with music.
Right.
With choreography first.
And you come from New York.
Yeah.
And then you came from New York. What made you come here? And then now you're just West Coast out, like.
Well, it's some personal happened with my family, with my mom, and I ended up being adopted by my great grandparents. So I moved out here with them, and it was a little culture shock because I moved into a real rough neighborhood. We gonna keep it clean. I'm not gonna say where it was, but I grew up in a rough neighborhood, and I actually had to deal with the gangbangers that was in that neighborhood, and I fought through it by not succumbing to being part of it. And in addition to that, I stood up to them on different occasions to the point to where I earned my respect, but I never had to join. So there is, for a lot of youngsters out there, there is a way that you can still be you and not have to be, part of being peer pressured into something. Because I refuse to do it. But at the same time, I still respected them, and anything that they needed. Like when I was younger, I would have birthday parties, or if I had something on Christmas and the neighborhood kids didn't have anything, I would invite them and they would spend Christmas with me. Or if it was Thanksgiving, they didn't have a chance to eat, they would eat with me and my grandparents. So a lot of the gangbangers started respecting me to the point to where they like, oh man, that's the bro, because his parents is like, his pops is like my pops. They take care of us. Right. If we don't have anywhere to go, we can go over there. If we need some toys to play with, we can go hang out with him. He got the basketball court at his house. So a lot of the gangbangers respected me because I actually showed them how to be human and how to, treat people how they want to be treated. And that's really how everything, was the way that my life grew when I came to Cali is what I stuck with. Because what I did, I took that same formula and I went from hood to hood. Whenever I went somewhere, I would take that same formula and go to this neighborhood and go to this neighborhood and treat the people there, go to this neighborhood. I even had a time when I went to a neighborhood, and a lot of the cats that were there, they had never been off the block.
Yeah.
All they knew was gang banging. And I told them, it's a big world out there. I said, jump in my car.
Let's go.
And we gonna go to all these high schools. And I took. That's when we was able to go on campus. You can't do that anymore. But we used to be able to go on campus, and they would meet all the females on the campus. A lot of them got females that they married and they're still married to, that I actually introduced them to by taking them to the Valley to go to Chatsworth, Taft, different types of schools, so that they could just see there's a bigger world out here. And all of those guys that were part of the gangbang community, those ended up being my allies through my career.
Right.
So like I had a rites of passage to go to any neighborhood I wanted to, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's the bro." And they're like, "Wow, how come he can go wherever he want to go?" And they're like, "I don't know. He's just a homie."
So that takes you to 93.
Right.
When 93, when you came out with Steady Drippin'.
Steady Drippin'.
Right, and then Steady Drippin', I'm sorry. And so that production happened, were these the friends that you
you had? I actually met a guy named Tweety Bird Loke from Kelly Park, and there's another artist that a lot of people might know. His name is Red Rum. He's like a cousin to Corrupt, and he actually performed on the Bangin' on Wax project. It was Red Rum and Tweety Bird that actually came up with the idea to do the Bangin' on Wax project. Tweety kind of came with the idea, and Red Rum they worked together and kind of put that together along with Ronnie Phillips.
Yeah.
So when they put that project together, me, Battle Cat, and a lot of the original Bloods and Crips that were in different neighborhoods at that time, they came together, and it was pretty rough. We were at Leon Hayward's studio on Crenshaw.
Yeah.
And it was some serious situations.
Right.
There was some guns being pulled out in the studio. There was a lot of words exchanged. It was a lot of They brought their homies with them, and their homies was packing. They was in the parking lot, and it could have been an ugly situation. But
well, I want people to understand like how important that album was to the West Coast, and how that it means for that to come together, and how rough it was in the 90s.
It was incredible.
And then for you to be a part of that production and bring that together was a feat in itself.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was a collective effort. You know, God had his hands in it, because it could have went any kind of way, but it didn't. And actually, the Crips and Bloods that we had, they were really affiliated. It wasn't a game. They weren't studio gangsters. They was really active in the hood. And a lot of them, you know, they would leave the studio and get it popping right after. You know, it could be something cracking right, you know, in their neighborhood right after they leave the studio. But we made studio home base, and the thing that's significant about that is that we placed on Billboard with that album.
Yeah, right.
But we never got recognized the way we should have, and well, there was one significant thing that Suge told me, because Suge was out then too. They had Death Row was out, and he had just come back off tour, and we had an interview together. And Suge said, "How do y'all feel about being above us on Billboard?"
Right.
And I was like, "Wow, we above you guys on Billboard."
Right.
I said, "Man, Snoop and everything that y'all doing on the Chronic and all that was like phenomenal." And he said, "Nah, y'all right up there with me." And the thing that I think, the fact that it was based on Bloods and Crips was why it wasn't significantly recognized as something very important to hip hop and to the West Coast because they didn't want to recognize that Crips and Bloods. So I don't know if they were going to be saying that they were stamping them.
Right. Yeah.
But it wasn't that. It was just the fact that it was good. It was still good music, but they couldn't believe that it was good music that was created with those type of entities.
Exactly.
And it was something unprecedented for the music industry, so they didn't know what to do with it. So their thing was, let's just give them their credit, and then just let's go and push this to the side, and they couldn't control it either, because how you gonna control some hood dudes?
Exactly.
It's not like you gonna make them do what you want them to do.
That was a real hot. I remember that.
Yeah.
Came out because I was on the streets.
Come on,
I'm
man.
out there representing. I'm shooting and everything. That was my Bible.
Bye.
And shout out to Tweety for Tweety fought for me to make sure that I got my placement on that album too.
But I just remember that being a big
that was a big deal for the West Coast, because and it's part of history here, and it needs to be recognized because the achievements that it had, and the fact that we're starting to see that in our industry right now.
Right now, it seems like it's banging on wax right now, every day. But it may not be on the physical term, but in this industry, it's like it's banging all the time. Everybody banging. I mean, we just, we had our little situation with 6ix9ine, and
I noticed how you said we.
Yeah, I'm saying
because it's a collective.
When I say we, it was the coast.
It was the coast.
I mean, I'm glad that worked out. I don't really want to, speak too much on that.
Right.
Another thing that I want to make a significant thing is that I met Domino while we were doing the Banging on Wax.
Right, and he was part of that. Yeah.
I actually, he was going to a meeting, and he actually brought his music. And I asked him to kick something for me, and when he rapped for me, I was like, man, this dude is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I took him straight downstairs to Battle Cat and made them, check him out, and then that's how he actually got on Banging on Wax, and then later we got him to deal with Def Jam.
Yeah.
With Outburst.
And that album too was significant.
You helped him get his music out. You discovered him?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I don't really want to say I discovered him because, he was already doing what he was doing, but I was actually the catalyst to taking him to the next level of his music endeavor. Wow. So you gotta, I just like putting it that way because people get caught up when they say you discovered. They get personal, but it's not all
every
about
time.
that.
I mean, but you gave him his chance. We actually went to Outburst, and we had a meeting. Me and Battle Cat and Domino, and Greedy Greg and Anti. Actually, they were with it. So they had their label, which was Outburst, and then they got a separate deal that would be like a joint venture with Def Jam, and he went out and got signed through Russell. So it was like he was one of the first West Coast artists to get signed to Def Jam.
Yeah, because I mean, in Long Beach, it was a huge thing. Huge thing, and I want
and that was even before
before everything blew up.
I mean, not before Snoop, but that was before. Yeah,
have that major deal.
Serious.
It was a major deal. It was a major big deal. And I want to explain this too to those who will probably be born around this time. You have to understand, at this point in time in hip hop, there were a few. R&B was the rule of the day. You got rock music as the rule of the day, and the East Coast was played. That was, if you had rap music, it was mostly the East Coast music coming out. And then you have Domino come out with this album, which was significant in Long Beach, specifically for Long Beach. It was a huge deal to be a part of that project.
And Domino, so people can understand, Domino at that time was significant as Drake at that time. He was like if Drake was to come out in 90, back in 94, that he was Drake.
nobody was doing what he was doing. He was unprecedented doing what he was doing, and that's why it was a serious impact. A lot of people don't give him the credit, but that kid is phenomenal. He's phenomenal,
and it's so effortless. But I encourage those who that don't know Domino to really listen to the production value of that album. I mean, just the G-funk and the bass line. Those were production key. The key to production on the West Coast was right in that album.
Exactly.
So, Liz, you got anything else to say? No.
I know I was going to say something.
You have something to say.
I saw your bio. You work with Dana Dane?
Yeah. And that was phenomenal.
Everybody here know Dana Dane.
Dana Dane is Cinderella.
Not at all.
Cinderella, Dana Dane.
Oh my God.
Dana Dane and Slick Rick was like the go-to guys. And from when it came to establishing New York, I guess it's like the English kind of like the English accent rap.
Yeah. Moni Love.
Just phenomenal. But Dana Dane came out here actually when I was signed, me, Battlecat, Beefy, all of us were signed to Lifestyles. And Dana Dane came out here and we actually put his music together. And the significant thing about that is that we had a deal, and the deal was with going through Motown, but it was with Maverick, and that was what was I gonna say? That was Madonna's label.
Oh yes, Maverick.
That was Madonna's label.
That was Madonna.
So
people don't
imagine that Dana Dane came on the West Coast and got a deal / Motown with Madonna.
Right.
So how are all those different things able to come together? It's just it's something that's unprecedented for to happen, because you wouldn't think that Madonna would even be interested in hip hop on that level.
Madonna was interested in all kinds of music,
She was invested in everything.
and she was invested in what was hot. Well, no matter what it was, if it was rap or whatever, she was.
Very true.
Like, I know that part.
That much, right?
I know that much.
Every time I see her, I feel younger and younger, but I need that part.
But I'm not a producer, but I'm always fascinated with how to approach production, and how do you come up with these sounds, and what has been your go-to, like, what do I need to do to start off with an artist, and you're like, this is what I need for them to sound like? Do you take that role, or do you take the role of, like, what do they want, what do they need?
Well, to me, a lot of artists, they don't know what they need. All they know is that they have a passion to do music that God gave them. A lot of them. Some people learn, some people are blessed with it. Now, what a manager or what a significant person of interest needs to do with an artist is to be able to mold that so it would be like, it'd be the same thing as doing the sculpture. You have the clay, and then you make the clay into a beautiful masterpiece. And the way that you do that is you have to tap into what things that they do that they're good at, and the things that they're not good at, and find a medium to join the two. And that's what it is. And it's kind of a big question, because there's all different types of approaches depending upon what type of talent they have. If it's a musician, you got to take a different road. If it's a rapper, it's a different road. Singer. So if you can make it a little bit more specific, then maybe I can give you a specific answer.
Oh, okay, not a problem
for a certain genre.
Yeah, but okay. So, like, you're the artist that you have now. Give us an example of, like, okay, so you're working with Compton AV as manager,
right?
What is your role, and when you were approached with working with him, how did you start that process? What did you think of it? What he needed in order for him to push forward?
Well, first of all, I need to give a big shout out to China and Maureen. They stay behind the scenes, but they're actually two females that are very, very significant in being behind the scenes, working on paperwork and making the rudiments of this music game come together. Mm-hmm. They actually were the ones who really gave me the energy or the understanding of how to put this together, because I have always been doing management or been in the position of management at a job, but they actually showed me how to bridge the gap between being a manager at a business where you're working for somebody, and then to be a manager for an artist and turning your business into a management situation. So first, I want to give shout outs to Maureen and China. Mm-hmm. When it came to AV, he was already musically talented. He was a great writer. Really, he just needed opportunity and he needed guidance. So the main thing that was necessary for him was to establish him with his paperwork. So he needed to, of course, get with ASCAP or BMI. That was the most important thing. He needed to
let people understand ASCAP and BMI, because a lot of artists, they just put out their music and they'll just put it out in SoundCloud and don't think about the business side of that.
Right. Even before you go to ASCAP or BMI, you want to go to the Library of Congress and copyright your music, because anybody will take your music if it's not copywritten. So your most important thing that you need to do is copyright your music. And even if you're not able to go through the Library of Congress, I think it's up to like $65 for a submission. But you want to send it as a group. So maybe if you got 30 songs, you want to write them out and put it under a umbrella. Like it'll be like if your name is John, it'll be John's Collections. You put your 30 songs with that, and then when you make your payment for your 65, you're gonna actually copyright all of those songs under that one name.
Yeah.
You got to do that first, and then you need to get with either BMI or ASCAP, and that's gonna actually register your music, so you're not actually doing anything out here for free. It takes care of your publishing, it takes care of your writers, so you're going to take care of your writers and your publishing through either BMI or ASCAP. That's what you got to do first. And then as far as social media, you can start putting your stuff up after you get your confirmations for those, because that's where you get your split sheets. Like if you do a collab with another artist, you're going to put your company, your ASCAP information, it covers you, and then their ASCAP or BMI information covers them. You do the splits on, okay, I rapped, I did 50% of this record, he did 50% of the writing, then you submit it in, and then ASCAP and BMI knows how to split and pay the artist.
Yeah, before you can even make a riff, you got that's
just called business. You gotta have all your business. So like, if there's an artist out there and they're like looking for management, what are the what would be the minimum criteria for like to approach a manager at this point?
To me, you would need to have. You might not need to have your ASCAP and BMI done, but you definitely need to have your music copywritten, because you don't want to, what we call ourselves tricking yourself off, because if you have a bomb idea, you don't want to present that idea and have somebody steal it.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is you want to come prepared. You can't go to a manager and have them play your music, and if it's hot and you don't have it copywritten, they just got a hot idea, or they can take the music that you got, give it to somebody else, or do what they're supposed to do with it, and you're out. So I would say the first thing that you need to do is copyright. And for those that, I mean, I can give a little bit more game. If you're not able to to actually go and get your copyrights done with Library of Congress. There's nothing wrong with doing what they call the poor man's copyright. You write down your titles of your music, who performed on it on a sheet of paper. You put your music on a CD. You label everything, every title of your music, and you go down to the post office and tell them you want to send it certified to yourself. And you pay a little bit more for it, but when it comes certified. You have to sign for it when it comes. When you mail it to yourself.
Wow.
It's certified. You sign yourself for it, and you never open it. So if anybody ever steals anything, you can take that to court. It's admissible as a legal document.
Now that's game.
And that'll keep you from being robbed. You can actually save being sued by doing that.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's industry game right there.
A lot of artists really don't know that, right? There's a lot of
They
people don't
can't.
know.
No.
Wow.
They don't know that.
That's trial and error. That's
I actually got off of a label that way. I sent them a certified letter of release, and a lot of people don't know the laws. When you send a certified letter to any corporation, they got 30 days to respond. If they don't respond in 30 days, you can be released. So I got out of my contract without having to fight or anything. I just sent it to them, and they didn't
because
even
they
pay
didn't
attention.
respond?
They didn't respond.
Oh wow.
Automatically gone. I'm walking.
Oh man.
So we're gonna go ahead, Amir.
What happened if they did respond?
If they did respond, then you got something to talk about.
Okay.
But what a lot of people don't understand, when you sign with any company, it automatically renews if you don't contest it.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't know that. It'll say in bold print. It'll say.
They're wondering why the labels own their life. And
Yeah,
their career.
they have you. It might be a 3-year contract, but it says if you don't respond within the 3 years, they have an option to renew for 3 more.
Right.
So you find out, you like, man, I was only signed to you for 3 years. They was like, nah, but you forgot.
Nah, fam.
When
See,
you
at the bottom of the
receive-
paper, it says
You
with
got
the magnifying
you got
glass.
you for 3 more years. And for 3 more albums.
Wow. Well, I really want to get into what you have done, because people have heard what you've done, but you have some new stuff as well. And we want to play some of that, if that's okay with you. What do you have in mind on what you brought in that you want to listen to?
Well, just so I don't shoot myself in the foot, it's not actually new, but it's significant. He's been playing it, so
Yeah.
I don't think it's really relevant. I think what would be more important is the fact that there was a turning point in my career where I went from producer to boardroom person. And like I said, based on what the work that I did with China and Maureen, that gave me the blueprint for me to be able to get into being a CEO, getting into doing artist development, and then later I started getting into management. Now what's significant about when you're doing good management is the in the situation where it comes with AV, is that it takes some of the pressure off of somebody that wants to not get into production. What you do, you make sure that you have a business established with the artist, and they take you on as management, and then what you do, your job is to place music for them, and that's your new job. So rather than making the beat and trying to do a beat and get the beat placed, what's better is that you have the artist produce the music, or the artist rap, or the producer produce the music. Then you take that music and you go get that music placed, and you get a percentage off of the placement. That makes it to where that's your new job. So you don't have to worry about trying to do production and be out here trying to please listen to my demo and trying to get your music placed. So the significance of that is that AV had a blessing to get a huge placement for his Money Dance record on Shots Fired with Sanaa Lathan on Fox. For the it was a 10 series a 10 part movie, 10 episode movie. And like I said, I'm not gonna really speak on the numbers, but he got a nice amount.
Oh yeah, that network is for really nice money.
But that placement,
for sure.
And that was based on his hard work. And I actually was able to get him a placement. And he got another one for the Money Dance. I mean, he got the Money Dance, then he got another one for Run Me My Money with the Quad.
Right, Run Me My Money was a huge hit. And I remember Jocelyn Hernandez was like, "This is my song."
Wow.
She was up on there, talking about, "This is my song," and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Which is another thing that I'm saying about how it's important to do that paperwork and make sure that you got that music taken care of, because I was on it immediately.
Yeah, she was talking mad money.
That's when you can do things like cease and desist, and
you're right,
without being an attorney, and call somebody and say, "Yeah, I'm about to shut your situation down. How about that?" On some paperwork. See, that's what it is.
Well,
nowadays we don't need to win. You can win your wars with a pen, and not your fist or with a gun. You can win it with a pen if you know what you're doing, and it's less violent, because you don't even have to raise your voice. You don't even got to argue, raise your voice, or nothing. Just send them an email or send them a piece of paper like, now read that, and when you,
because it got quiet real quick though.
When you get that, shut that down fast.
Well, if there's anybody who's out there who's has a question for Qluso about the industry, you can call in right now at 310-910-9676 extension 1. That's 310-910-9676 extension 1. You know the dyslexia of mine,
right?
I'll just read it again. 310-910-9676 extension 1. Anybody wants to call in?
I'm about to call in.
Are you about to call in?
I thought about it actually.
And then one of the members, one of the original members of Banging on Wax, Big Y, is on re-establishing Banging on Wax. If you look on his social media page, he's been really pushing, doing a nostalgic re-emergence of Banging on Wax. I like that he's doing that. And I noticed, I saw that Joe Moses and Future came to the neighborhood and actually put a video together, and that was big. So I noticed Big Y was there, so I want to give a shout out to Big Y for keeping the Banging on Wax legacy going too.
Yeah, because it's time. I hear it in the music. I hear it like really coming around again, and it's definitely a significant time. Well, we're gonna take a quick break for our minute. You got a question?
Music producer
every time.
We ready to take a break.
Hey, I gotta ask this quick question.
All right, I got you. It's all good.
They always jumping on me. They think I'm a.
Come on. Okay, go ahead.
As a music producer,
yes, sir.
The accomplishments. How did you get yourself out there? Like letting everybody know that you're, making music.
You talking about as far as an actual producer?
Yeah.
Really, your social media runs the world now. So
I'm talking about when it was no social media.
Ooh. When we were doing that, it was door to door. You had it was studio hopping, and like I actually met Dr. Dre that way. I went to Lonzo's studio,
and I met the producers that were there. It was Big Slip. Big Slip produced for CMW, and I met
a lot
Quick,
of late nights.
I met Quick that way. I met Quick the same way.
Right.
I mean, I end up going. The thing is, you can't stay home with your music. A lot of people are producers, and they got their music, and they it's like a sandbox. They're like, man, don't play with my toys. My toy. So I'm like, man, all right, so all your toys is at home, but nobody knows what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta not be scared. You gotta get that thumb drive, and you gotta get out there and get in people's faces. I mean, even if you buy a like now they you got your Beats. You can take your Beats pill and keep it with you and just bang your music everywhere you go. Throw it in your backpack and walk around.
It's too easy.
And people will hear you and be like, "Hey man, who was that? What's that right there?"
Easy.
And you get laced. But back in the day,
if you're a Lyft driver, you can put it in the car. We have done that twice. We have brought people in because of that.
Studio hopping. Studio hopping.
Well, anyways, let's bring in the mix, and we'll be right back after
the house with that mix-a-moni. Mix-a-roni.
The mixeroni.
Yeah.
wow.
That's DJ El Camino in the mix. Hey. He coming to the part of the show.
We were just talking about like that. Let's Play House.
Wow, he came with the original Let's Play House.
Yeah, that was a good one. Well,
this is the part of the show where we where I messed up at the beginning.
Of course, you messed up in the beginning, but it's all good. It's all good.
No, we don't mess up. Remember when I fell on stage? We make. You
know what? When everyone falls on stage,
spectacular recoveries. That's what we do. We don't make mistakes.
I don't talk about it.
Okay, so there's a couple of things that we have to talk about.
I was doing a moon slide and fell.
So we're gonna flip over and we're gonna make it happen, right?
Yeah.
So I want to tell you, I really want to talk about a couple of things. I mean, so we're going to break into this. I really want to talk about today being for the culture. For the culture is really, and I'm going to skip everything that we got going on. For the culture is a rap battle that's going to happen in a city, and I'm really like overly excited about it because.
Wow, that's beautiful. When is that?
So that is the 13th. And it's coming up really, really soon. It's next week. And the rap battle. Let me just say, it's everybody involved. Everybody's involved with this. So what I want people to do is it's a rap battle in Long Beach. I want you to go right now to Who's the Hottest on Instagram. It gives you all the information. Now this is underground type stuff. So this is not. I mean, you got 562 God versus DW Flame, who was a guest here.
Giving away all his money.
I mean, you got TF Third coming through. Versus Savvy. I mean, it is really going to be a Long Beach underground rap battle. Hit up Jew. Hit up Who's the Hottest. Is that it?
No, what is it?
Oh, Who's the Hottest? Who's the Hottest? Buy tickets. It's $10 a ticket. You can't go no cheaper than that. That's it. Who's the Hottest? Go to Who's the Hottest right now. Find out information on this rap battle that's happening next week. You ain't gonna destroy nobody. This is, and it's called For the Culture. This is for the culture. You cannot miss this. It's the one thing that I look forward to. I've been talking to the organizers. I've been talking about, talking to the organizers of this. I mean, we got Indian Blue versus Cali Dro. We had, like I said, TF Third versus Savitho. It's the 13th. You got to be 21 or older. Please do not bring your little cousin Pookie, who's just now turning 17. No, this is 21 over. It's a rap battle of the ages. This is new artists that are really banging on wax right now. No, they are killing it on wax right now. And so please go to Who's the Hottest. This is in Long Beach. Go to Who's the Hottest. Buy your ticket. It's $10. This is $10 for the culture. You gotta do it. You gotta come through.
Okay, Vince Staples, $2 million GoFund. What's going on with that?
Oh, Vince Staples, Jesus Christ. I mean, we can go on and on. Vince Staples actually put up $2 million on GoFundMe to say, you know what? If you give me $2 million on GoFundMe, I'll go away. I won't say nothing else. I won't speak because people out there are actually saying that he's not doing what he needs to do.
Wow.
Like they're saying that he's whack on stage, his music is whack, everything about him is whack, and so they really are going hardcore. And he says like, okay, well then you want to shut me up? I'm putting up a GoFundMe. Go to his GoFundMe. It's raising funds right now. Last time I checked, it was like at $1,400, I think, or something like that. People were putting money in. It's called the Hater Fund.
Now tell us about this 562 guy.
Well, 562 God, I talked about 562 God. He's going to be in the rap battle, but he's been throwing money at the children. Go out there. He's been going out there throwing money over the fences, giving money to the kids, cash. And I think, you know what? It's a social media goal because everybody's following him right now.
He's throwing thousands over the gate
and middle schools. But anyways, I also want to say thank you so much. to the women of this world. International Women's Day. We hadn't said enough about it, but we hadn't had a whole lot of time to talk about it. I just want to acknowledge all the women, my team here, all the women that's here. We have a huge team of women.
Yes!
Ty, Amir, who's actually our host too. One of our co-hosts, and I really appreciate the ladies on the team. And then also
Trey D, right?
Trey D album is coming out, so we'll talk about that. But also, our guest, can you please tell the world where they can find you and get more information about what you do?
Well, really, if you following AV, you following me. So my Instagram is at Big Qluso. QLU. Oh yeah, BIG. My bad. BIGQLUSO.
Big Qluso.
Big Qluso on
really appreciate you.
On Instagram.
You guys can find us on lookingcammyshow.com, Instagram, Looking Cammy Show, Twitter, Looking Cammy Show, SHO, like for show, and on Facebook at Looking Cammy Show. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next week.
All right, shout out.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Oh, shout out to Amir's husband here.
Close enough.
All right.
Ended up more crippled than handyman. Went roo-rah and now who's hiding in a minivan? Surrounded by the sick niggas, come to foe and eat.